Hi, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my photography talks. So today we'll talk about an experience. So I talked in a recent video about how I was bringing a 4x5 out to photograph my dad. And I actually brought two. I brought a Zone 6, which is a wooden and brass, beautiful 4x5 folding camera, field camera. And I shot a photo of him with a 210mm lens. And I felt like I was fighting the whole time trying to see that ground glass. I had a hood on, I was in a bedroom, there was light coming in from a window, and it just was like so difficult. I found myself searching for the image, and I didn't feel like I really could tell what the details were for the corners and all the different parts of that image. I felt like I could find him, but I couldn't tell you if the corner had, where it was cropping exactly. I felt like it was pretty indefinite. And it was frustrating because I want to see what I'm getting. I want to see exactly what I'm including and not including. And I shot 2 frames, and he was patient. I focused and double focused, and then I told him to hold still, and then I put the film in, and I processed that film, and his shoulder, in the back of the shoulder, is in focus, but his eyes are not. And that to me is like no good. But the next day I went and I photographed him, similar setup, but with a Crown Graphic, which is a little bit smaller press camera with a 127mm lens, so a little wider. I checked focus, I double checked focus. It has a rangefinder, I could check focus on that, but then I checked the ground glass again. And then those two came out perfectly in focus. So I think that I'm not necessarily, maybe I'm not a wooden 4x5 guy. Maybe you have to find out at times where your strengths are and where your magic lies. And maybe I do like the 4x5 format, but I really wish I had brought the Graflex, the long tower camera that you look down into and you're working with a mirror image that's actually right side up. I think that one I could have worked much better with him, except I didn't bring that. I brought the big wooden one because I thought that would be fun for him to see, a big old wood camera. And then the Crown Graphic of the two was the better of the two. Still didn't feel like I had the best handle on what the view exactly was, although better than the Zone 6 wood camera. But I like the idea of shooting large negatives, and I'm so glad I did. And those 2 frames are really special to me, and I'll put them in the links below so you can see them. But at that moment of shooting, I felt I was frustrated. I was searching for the image, and I felt like I was shooting a little blind. And that's not a good feeling as a photographer, to not see exactly what you're getting. And so I don't know exactly what I need to do, if I need to just unload the Zone 6 and the wooden camera is maybe just use it as an attractor when I'm photographing something I want people to stop, because they'll always stop and look at that camera. But I don't know that it's my favorite thing to use, because so far I haven't had the greatest experience using it. And I think you sometimes have to make that judgment call. I certainly have said, I think in the past, I love a Leica camera for its build and the way it's designed, but being a left-eyed shooter, I often find a SLR a lot quicker, a lot easier, not as pocketable, but a lot easier to work on the fly and work quickly. I'll typically not bring out a Leica unless I have time to compose and take my time with it. I don't use a Leica for street because I can't just wave the camera and point and shoot. I feel like that's not a good way of using a Leica. And I know there are people who do, and certainly lots of people did use it for street photography. But for me, it's something I want to carefully compose, and it's not quick like that F100 I use a lot. And that D610 for a digital full frame camera. But it's interesting to have that experience with the 4x5 and to process the film and to see the results. When those 2 first frames came out of the fixer and I'm looking at them and the eyes are not anywhere near in focus. And it's probably only a couple of inches off, but enough to make it so that it's not usable. I knew there wasn't much sense in washing those negatives all that well because I never was going to get to use them. But the ones from the Crown Graphic, those I actually like a lot. And so I'll probably shoot more of that. But next time I also want to bring that Graflex, which I didn't want to bring because of the size of it. It's a big boxy thing. Looks like a large lunchbox, the case it's in. But at the same time, it's about using a tool that makes it so that you can create and not be bogged down or have interference from the tool that you can't get what you want. And that's what I felt like happened to me. I was in a place where I wasn't getting what I wanted because I didn't know exactly what I was getting. I felt like I was kind of shooting without a good view. It's like the viewfinder was blocked or dark, or the room had dark parts to it. So, you know, the light falling off and the lens isn't the brightest on a ground glass anyway all the time, not unless you're in bright light. So that was an interesting experience. And have you shot with a 4x5 and have ever battled it and struggled with seeing it? There's a part of me that would like to move up to an 8x10 because I thought maybe it'd be like a large television screen. I could see the whole frame at once, and by having it larger, I'd be able to have a better chance of seeing what was in the frame. 4x5 feels like I'm almost like, you know, trying to squint to see it all. And I have really good close vision. I have perfectly good vision this way. I can see that, and it wouldn't take, you know, anything for me to be able to take my glasses off and be under the hood and see that 4x5 frame. I just can't see what's on it. And I wonder if an 8x10 would be any better. But like I said, my thought is, oh, it'd be great to have a big frame that you can actually back up a little bit and see the whole thing. And a friend said, yeah, actually, you can't always see the whole thing. A lot of people have to like compose areas because it's too big. Maybe I'll just stick with that Graflex. All right, that's Safe Photography Talk. Check out the photos below. If you can support, hit the Patreon. If you are enjoying these, hit the subscribe button, and I'll bring more photography talks to you. Thanks for watching. Here's to good light.